Well, we've been working on our building, our steel building, insulating it. So let's go out there and see what we've done so far and go from there. How's it going up there?
I'm done.
Okay, I was telling everybody on the insulation, so what we've done so far is we went ahead and put all the foam in. Am I right?
Yep, the foam.
We got all the foam. Alright, so if we look up here, Minnie the Body Shop girl, she went all the way around all the edges. And how many cans of foam did you use on this?
I don't know, 5 or 6.
Did we use 5? I think we used 5 and a half.
5 or 6, something like that.
And this is a 26 by
15.
This is 26 by 16 building, and it's got a 212 pitch. So we only used to go all the way around to put the foam in 5 and a half cans. So we got a lot of cans we're taking back.
A lot of cans we're taking back. I think we bought like 38 or something.
Yeah. Okay, so now what we did is we put the drop ceiling in. I told everybody I was going to do that.
Yep.
And you can see the drop ceiling is now installed. And what I used on that is 2.5-inch square tubing, 14 gauge. And the reason the plywood is up there is because we're going to have an attic access right there, so we can store stuff up there. But what Minnie just got done doing is she went ahead and insulated the roof. Let's go up there and look at that. So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm glad it's done because it's getting dark up here.
Now what we used here is we used R13 insulation rolled out.
Yeah.
And once again, this is a 26 by 16 building. Now we went ahead and, can you hold that up? We went ahead and put the paper down just like it would be if it was on the walls. And another thing is we're going to go ahead and put an attic twirly bird in here. And what that is, it's going to be a vent that's going to suck the hot air out in the wintertime to vent it. But back to the insulation. So we got our vapor barrier all the way around the walls. We got our foam spray in all of the crevices and cracks. And then we got R13 on the ceiling of the drop ceiling. I tell you what we ought to do is put the rest of the ceiling in. We got one more section right here.
Yep.
And then we'll insulate that. Now, how many bags did you use up here, insulation? 32 foot long.
Well, 2 strips, 3 strips per bag and a half per one.
So it was 6 bags, right? So we got 6 bags on the to there. So we're going to use another 1.5 bag here. And then, of course, we're not going to.
That's going to be open over there.
It's going to be open, so we're going to have to insulate this and make all that enclosed as well. So it's coming along good. The insulation job's being done right, and Minnie the Body Shop's girls working hard.
As usual.
One more thing I want to tell everybody. Down here where the metal panel and the vapor barrier material meets the bottom brace, this bottom track right here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put foam, spray foam in all the gaps that go all around. Because what the real deal is that's not an airtight fit. There's only possibly maybe 3 screws in between each panel here, in between each beam, holding that bottom panel on. And you can see right here, there's 1 screw down on the bottom, 2 screws, so there's 3 screws. You can see the big gap between them. That means that air is getting up in there. So we're going to go ahead and take our spray foam, and then we'll go ahead and spray foam that gap in as well before we start insulating all the walls. All right, how's it going? What are you working on? Looks like you're getting that wall insulation up.
Installation.
So you're putting insulation on top of insulation. We got our vapor barrier on. We already went over that.
Yeah.
I noticed you put foam on the bottom of this wall here. What's up with that?
Foam?
Yeah, spray foam.
Yeah,
we went ahead and used spray foam instead of liquid nail, huh?
Yeah, we decided just to do that.
Yeah.
And I went around.
Because that'll seal it up nice and airtight as well. So we got to get something down there because I showed you where the screws were, and air and moisture's coming up. So we went ahead and instead of using liquid nail, we had all the cans of foam insulation, the expanding foam. We went ahead and used the expanding foam instead. And now what Minnie's doing now is she is cutting the strips out of the R13 insulation and installing it on the walls. Now, how do you do that? I see it's hanging up here and you don't have nothing holding it up. How's that?
Isn't that awesome?
How's that working?
Because we're using
What is
spray
this?
adhesive.
Okay, so you're using some spray adhesive, contact adhesive.
Right.
All right, can you show everybody how that works real quick?
You want to shake it up good. Is that supposed to be on there?
What's going on?
That must be a safety thing or something. How to open the can of spray adhesive. How many people does it take to open the can of spray adhesive? 1, 2, 2.
Damn, I need a pair of those pliers to get this thing working. God! You gotta have needle nose pliers to open this tip. This is stupid. Is there another spray tip on that can?
Well,
This is ridiculous.
not like that one. It probably won't fit. Of course, you know, they come out with these newfangled, easier, better, improved, and usually it sucks worse. Yeah, generally speaking.
Start over. Take 3. Alright, we got all the insulation up in the ceiling after we put our drop ceiling in. Minnie went up there and she put the R13 up inside the ceiling. And we also have our vapor barrier. That's very important. That's the first thing that you want to do. One more thing that's important, make sure that you seal up all the gaps where the panel actually meets the lower track here, this lower, what is that called? Minnie?
What?
What's that bottom piece called? Shh.
The base plate?
No. Yeah, that'll work. God, this is really being a bunch of shit here. Alright, what we got here is Minnie got done putting the insulation into the ceiling after we dropped the ceiling down, and we saw that going on. What she's doing now, she's actually putting the insulation on the walls. Now remember, we have a vapor barrier. That's the most important thing you can do to insulate your metal building. One more thing is on this bottom plate here, where the studs, the wall studs attached to, you want to insulate that corner right there. Now we went ahead and used spray foam because we had extra spray foam. If you don't have spray foam, expanding foam, you can use liquid nail. Liquid nail would work just as good. And then if you remember, up inside the ceiling on the roof, we went ahead all the way around and we did our expanding foam on all the gaps up there as well. So what Minnie's doing now is she's putting the insulation up, which is the R13, into our building. Now I want to show you something, and this is going to happen to you if you have a building such as this. The insulation that you get is going to be thicker than the 2.5-inch stud work that you got. So you want to make sure that you get the thinnest insulation you can. This was the thinnest we found, which was 3.5 inches, because you don't want to have to push that insulation in. The more you push it in, the less R value that you're going to have. So I think we're going to be all right in this angle right here, and I think it'll all work out okay. So how are you attaching that to the wall where it stays?
Good old spray adhesive.
Okay, so what are you doing?
So the first thing you do is spray it on your wall, and you don't need a whole lot.
Okay.
I've already got it on this wall, but to demonstrate, what you would do is just like this. Just make an S pattern all the way down your wall.
Right.
You know, you don't need a whole lot, but you do need to put it on both surfaces. So you got to spray your insulation also, and you just need a little bit on there too, you know, like that all the way down. And you don't need to wait after you've sprayed it. It's ready to go right away.
So it becomes contact cement.
Exactly, contact
Okay.
cement. And the word contact, yeah. You don't want to touch this to anything because it will adhere and pull your batting
Got
off.
it.
So you want to be careful when you go up on your ladder. And another thing too, when you measure, you want to add just a couple of inches so you can tuck it up under.
If you're putting a drop ceiling in.
Right.
Or even if you're not, I mean, it's better to add an inch or two so you can make an airtight fit between the insulation.
Yeah, when you come around your ladder, you want to be careful. You don't want to touch the wall till you get it to the spot you want to be at. And then I fold it back just a hair on the top, buff it up against the next piece, and then tuck it under like that. And you want to push it to the edge, and it's stuck. You don't want to pull it away.
Got it.
Get down off the ladder before you stick it because it's going to hang and leave a gap.
So what you're saying, don't go ahead and touch the wall.
Until you get down off the ladder and position it in the bottom.
Got it.
Because come over here and see how it's
Yeah,
hanging.
I see how it hung there.
Yeah.
You got a gap.
So you want to butt it up against there, and then you're done. Just that easy.
That one didn't look like it stuck too good.
It's stuck, believe me.
Okay. All right, and then that'll stay on there until we get our
Metal panels.
metal panels on. Okay.
Yeah, it's ready for the metal panels now.
Right. So we're getting the building insulated properly, and once again, I'm going to go ahead and mention it. The real proper way to do it is you have to have your vapor barrier. Without the vapor barrier, your insulation job ain't going to be worth anything at all. Where are we at? What'd you just get done doing?
Gluing the floor to the floor.
So we basically got the floor insulated. So we're done with insulation. It's a done deal.
Well, no, not really.
Why?
We still got.
Well, we got a little bit of that to do, but I'm saying overall, I mean, the insulation job's done.
90% of it done.
I'd say 95%.
90% of it.
Let's walk it down. Let's show everybody what's going on here. So what we got here, you see the corners are taken out. That's because when I put my metal sheeting on, I got to put an angle iron on there for it to screw to. So we'll put our insulation back in, but here's the insulation that goes in that corner. Now, we showed you how the insulation goes on, and we also showed you that the most important thing of insulating a small building is when you have the building built to make sure that you get your vapor barrier. Without the vapor barrier, you're going to have a lot of problems. Make sure that you go ahead and spend the extra dollar and get your vapor barrier put on as they're putting the building up. The next thing we did, if you look right here, we took our expandable foam and we put it down between the bottom plate and the sheeting, the outside sheeting. And then we also went up into the ceiling and did that. Now, keep in mind, I went ahead and put a drop ceiling in here. So once we dropped the ceiling down, Minnie, the body shop girl, got up in there and insulated the whole ceiling. Am I right?
Yes.
And we showed them that.
With foam and...
Well, you did the foam up on top, yes, and then we went ahead and insulated with the R13. All right. So we got that done. The next thing that we will do is we'll go ahead and put our sheeting over the wall. Now, I want to go ahead and show everybody this. I'm putting electricity in mine, and I went ahead and installed my electrical box. I'm going to have a light switch and one electrical outlet for this building that I'm using it for. And I went ahead and used Romax. You can see that right here. Okay. and I put it behind the insulation. I did it professionally. Now this is going to be for our lights right here. We got the wire run up for our lights, and then we'll string all our lights up and we'll run all the wires for our lights, and then we'll go ahead and sheet everything. So this is basically the basics of insulating your metal building. Now we went over in the beginning of this video, we went over the differences between a commercial building and a home hobby shop building. This video is for the home hobby shop building. If you get a commercial building, they will insulate it properly the way it should be. When you buy one of these buildings, you don't get no insulation, you have to do it yourself. Now what Minnie did is she went around the whole floor and she liquid nailed the bottom plate to the concrete floor to seal it up. And she went all the way around the whole building. Now, we didn't just use any normal liquid nail for that. We used the Loctite PL3, which is a super, if you want to use some construction adhesive or you want to seal something up, this is the liquid nail to get, not liquid nail brown. Get the Loctite PL3X strong, and this should hold up to seal the bottom of the floor to the plate. Now, I had an issue on my building when the building was being built. The people that laid the concrete did a crap job, and you can see where I had to build up the concrete before they erected the building. That's another situation right there. You want to make sure that your floor is all level and in sequence when they build your building. What's up?
Shoot it this way so they can see the garage door.
Yeah. Yep, there you go.
Because the concrete slants.
Concrete has a slight slant to it.
Slightly for runoff.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and of course this was an afterthought. Had it not been an afterthought, it wouldn't have been a downgrade.
Right. The only other thing I could say that would have made this building more airtight is if they would have put a ledge, like a 6 or 8 inch ledge all the way around the building, and then built a footer, and then built the building on top of that. But yeah, that's right. Money. There you go. So if you're going to insulate your building, this is the way to do it. Remember, you need that vapor barrier. Very, very important. Go ahead and buy yourself several cans of expandable foam and get yourself enough rolls of R13, 3 inch. That's 3.5 inch R13. And we used our heater in here without the insulation. It took about 15 minutes to warm it up.
Not that long.
No, without the insulation.
Oh, yeah. Now you run it for about 3 minutes, and it's like 80 degrees in here. Yeah, so insulation is a good thing. You just got to know how to do it the proper way. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, showing you and telling you how to do it the right way. And don't forget your vapor barrier. Okay, this is approximately 9 months later, and we actually got our building done. So let's go take a look at. Okay, take 2. Actually, damn it. I gotta clean my camera. We ain't gonna look at nothing yet. It's early in the morning. I've been up very early, several hours now. And I've been working on this video since approximately 4:30 this morning. It's now 7:55. So let me clean the camera before we finish this video up, if you don't mind. Okay. Get that cleaned up. And I hope that's better. Oh yes. You see the situation we have when it comes to staying up late hours and filming.
All right, I think we're ready now. So let's walk out there. Let's finish this video up on insulating your building. Before we go any further, the insulation that you see in this building is a commercial grade insulation. This is not a residential style insulation. I will stress to you that this building here is a professional metal building. The insulation in this building costs $28,000. $28,000. So the insulation in a building like this is totally different than a home garage building or a carport slash metal building that we've been watching and working on. Another thing, if you see the structure in this building, this is a commercial building. Do you see the I-beams? Do you see the structure of the building alone is totally different. This has got a separate foundation that the building sits on, and then you got the floor that is separate from the foundation, whereas the building that we're using in this video set is a building that is basically got carriage bolts holding it down to the floor. So here's our building. This is approximately, I would say, probably 8 months later, 7.5, 8 months later. And you can see that I got the windows in. The windows came out great. We trimmed them. Everything looks awesome on that. And then we're going to go ahead and walk into the shop, or should I say the metal garage. And we'll go ahead and turn the lights on. And I also got I put a breaker box here to actually turn the power off, to transfer power. But this is our building. Son of a bitch. Motherfucker. You bastard fucking bitch. Okay, here we go. All right, here's our building. It's about 8 months later. Let's walk inside. Let's check it out. We were talking about metal paneling, and I think that's important that we show that to you. So we're going to walk into the building, and wow, look what we got. It's finished. It's a done deal. The building is insulated. It's insulated properly. And instead of using USB board, we went ahead and used the 24 gauge Minnie rim panel. And now there we go, okay. So the reason I didn't take the ceiling all the way to the end, I guess you kind of figured it out. This is a roll up door, and the door has to have space to roll up into it. Another thing that we did, we went ahead and boxed that in. Now we got storage up above our room, and there's the door that you see that I made for it. And I just screwed the door on there. It's nothing fancy, just a couple screws holding it. But it really came out nice. I still got to give me some trim. I'm going to put some outer corner trim and some inner corner trim to fill the gaps in. I just can't afford to do that right now, and I really haven't had time. But this is it. This is the insulated building, and this is how it should be done. Very simple, very easy. I believe I have, with insulation, metal paneling, and all the insulation stuff that I have done to it, I believe I have less than $2,200 in it. I have less than $2,200. And it's a professional building. And I want to show you on the door what I did on the door. And I still haven't, I got to get a rubber seal to put on the bottom still. But let's go outside, and you can see that steel's 110 times better than what you saw earlier in this video. Let's go outside, and I'm going to show you what I did to seal it to the floor. So if you look down on the bottom of the door, what you're looking at there, you're looking at a 2x2 piece of aluminum angle. And I went ahead and cut that to fit, and then I screwed it to the door. Now, the gap was so big over here, you can see where I had to add a little bit of aluminum to it to compensate. So, if you are installing a building and the ground isn't perfectly level, that's how you're going to want to fix the gap on your door to get it right. No Jake brakes in town, asshole. Turn the Jake brake off. We live in a canyon. It echoes. It's loud. So there you go. Building insulation, take 29, 3784. It's a done deal. It's insulated. And I'm very, very happy with the way that I did this. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, showing you and telling you you can do this stuff. Yes, it does take a little bit of money. Yes, it does take a little bit of manpower. But you know what else it takes? A hard-working wife that's willing to come outside and do most of the work on a situation like this.